thing that I found... Just a minute, wait for it to actually get itself going. There we go. Yeah. Was this. Hero of Law. So I actually saw this while scrolling a bit earlier today, and it turns out that it came out only a couple of days ago. And it is Ocarina of Time mixed with Phoenix Wright. And you know what? That sounds like a match made in both heaven and hell, so let's play it. I honestly think that's the best thing you can do. This game auto-saves after each scene. Do not turn off your console during scene transitions. It's so quiet. Do you think they forgot? Forget a royal visitation? No one can make such a blunder, princess. Is Zelda getting accused first? Well, I guess I should just go in then. So Marnie has killed Mario. I forget if that's his actual name or if that's just who he looks a lot like. Okay, I'm here for this. I like the aesthetic. Proof I can stand in court as an attorney. Malon and Talon. You'd think after so many years of doing this I'd be used to the stress. So why am I shaking? Yeah, I guess it's a lot worse when it's your friend's life that's online. Come on, gotta look professional. She can't see you like this. Speaking of her though, where is she anyway? Hey, you, over there! Huh? What is it, attorney? Trials are starting yet. But it will be soon, right? But do you happen to know why my client isn't here yet? I didn't get to speak much with her when she was arrested, so I was hoping I could at least exchange a word with her now. Well, you weren't the only one with the idea. I believe she is currently in the prosecutor's lobby. Bollocks. We wanted to talk to her as well. I'm guessing this is going to be Ganon. What? What is up with this guy? He bars me from the crime scene, blocks my detention centre visits, and now this. Not to worry. She'll definitely be here before the trial. Great, that'll be a joyous 5 minutes indeed. There's nothing I can do but wait. Go on, do the whole... I'm like... Aww. Okay, this is ridiculous. How much longer can he keep her? Ah, see, there she is. No need to get all worked up. Is something wrong? Did I hear shouting? So much for looking professional. No. Don't worry, everything's fine. This is Malon. Ever since we met in Hyrule Castle Town all those years ago, we've been great friends. Her heart's in the right place. I know she cared deeply about her father. If everything's fine, why do you look so worried? Well, how'd the investigation go? Did you find anything? Yes. The investigation. I found tons of, groundbreaking stuff. Particularly that my opponent's a real scumbag. What did the prosecutor want from you anyway? Well, it was mostly just threats. He kept explaining in detail what will happen to me if I'm found guilty. Doesn't sound like a vital discussion that needs to happen right before the trial. He probably just did that so we wouldn't have as much time to talk. You believe me, right? I didn't do it. I'd never. Of course I believe you. Although, I'll be honest, things aren't looking very good right now. What's that you've got there? It's definitely the prosecutor who did it. I can guarantee it. It's Ganondorf. This is just a pictograph of Father I carry around. I just can't believe he's gone. Oh, it's definitely the Luigi. Or the horse. Wishing you had to cheer her up right now. I'm not very good at handling emotional clients. Hey, you know, that pictograph could be really useful in the trial. Oh, how so? Well, you look so happy together. I can present it to show that you two had a great relationship. You really think so? Well, here you go then. At least I'll be walking in there with something other than my badge. Wait, we shouldn't just be idly chatting. Anyway, there's not much time left. I know it's hard to talk about, but could you tell me what actually happened? I don't stand much of a chance if I don't know your version of the story. I understand. Unfortunately, there really isn't much to... The trial is starting. Defendant, attorney, please enter the courtroom at once. Uh-oh. Shouldn't have said that stuff about having no chance. Alright, everything will be fine. The prosecutor's been playing me for a fool since this began. Sooner or later, his arrogance will be its undoing. Let's head inside. Ooh. My name is Lee. I've been a defense attorney for the last 7 years. I've won my fair share of cases and lost some too, but this one is personal. There's so much at stake here. Not only do I have to save Mahlon's life, I've got to find out who did this to Talon. Talon, he was always so kind. He didn't deserve this. I need to do him justice. I can't lose this. Yeah, of course it is. Court is now in session for the trial of Mahlon of Lon Lon Ranch. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Oh, it's blue because... Yeah, of course it's blue because of Phoenix. He even gave him a fucking suit instead. I sincerely doubt that. Oh, they've gone with the full Ganondorf Dragmire. I like it. What were they thinking? Pissing me against some pathetic kid. Pathetic kid? What gives you the right to... Mahlon's definitely becoming Maya, isn't she? Still your tongue. You bring shame upon the fine colour of your hair, vile woman. Jesus. Oh, even does the Edgeworth. Before long, the world shall know the horrible deeds you've committed. Let us not prolong the inevitable. Shall we begin? Very Von Karma-esque. Now. This court is no place to be exchanging insults. Since the prosecution seems ready as well, let's hear their opening statement. The opening statement shall also be the closing one. That smirk is very off-putting. I like the custom animations though. The girl did it, it's obvious. She killed her own father in cold blood. Also, she could have the ranch to herself. Oh, I like that as well. Couldn't wait for the old fool to die naturally, could you, you greedy little rat? Your Honour, I can't allow this man to verbally abuse a defendant like this. I like the idea that this has all just been translated from yeah, Zia! Ha! She committed murder, kid. She deserves every bit of scorn she gets. I do believe a little less commentary wouldn't go amiss. Bah! I assure you, old man, you will change your opinion once you see all the damning evidence. Who is this guy? How can you speak to a judge like that? Ganondorf Dragmire. Looks like I've been lucky to avoid meeting this man until now. The stories I've heard about it must be true. A boorish barbarian of a man hailing from the Gerudo province. Apparently he prides himself on the nearly clean streak he's cultivated for decades, all while disrespecting everyone in the court, including the judge. I even heard someone refer to him as the King of Evil. Ooh. Definitely has that look at the very least. Who wears full armour to court? Very well. Please present your case to the court. You don't seem like me talking, so I'll just let the detective present the basics. Bring Emperor the Sheikah Force to the stand. Well, here we go. First battle. I know Impa. She's quite a competent detective. Which worries me. Please let her have made a mistake just this once. whatever it is you pretend to do. You never change, do you, prosecutor? Any possible change will be for the worse. Now, stop wasting time. Name an occupation. Oh man. Very well. I'm Impa, head detective of the Sheikah Force, Homicide Division. True for now, at least. Well, what are you waiting for? Stop talking. You were the one who assigned... You were the one assigned to this case, so you know all about it. What calamity has befallen our fair kingdom? Still can't be bothered to give a proper opening statement? I suppose I can do the prosecutor's job for him this time, for the sake of an unbiased look. Please, go ahead, detective. The incident happened early yesterday morning on Lon Lon Ranch, a local supplier of goods located just south of Castletown. The current owner of the homestead, Talon, was found dead in his ranch house. A tragic loss for our kingdom, for sure. I've seen the man around Castletown a number of times delivering goods. Quite. The owner was a rather important figure in the local community. In any case, we were alerted to the scene of the murder by the Royal Guard, who were there on official business. Official business? What kind? As I understand, the ranch provides the kingdom with vital services. To ensure it is operating as it should, and as a gesture of appreciation, the Crown orders a visitation to the ranch every year. I see. A scheduled annual visit. Continue, detective. When the Sheikah Force arrived, they found the victim bleeding out into the floor. Next to him lay his daughter, Madeline, breathing but unresponsive. After a thorough investigation, we arrested her, as she was deemed the only possible culprit. That about covers the gist of what happened. Very nice and succinct. Keep that up and perhaps you will keep your job. Oh, I don't think the good detective here has much to worry about, given she is the head of the department. Which reminds me, why is the head of detectives herself on a case like this? Were the other detectives unavailable? That'd be because I have been assigned to this case by the order of the King of Hyrule himself. The King himself assigned you? That doesn't happen very often, does it? You are correct, Your Honour. I'm not usually involved in field work like this. This time, however, the King felt it necessary because of who is involved. Who is involved? Is the death of a ranch worker really such a concern for the King? Well, as I said, Lon Lon Ranch is a very important supplier of goods, to be sure. But that's not who I meant. I like that she carries like the knife as well. I imagine the King wanted the top investigators on this job because it was the royal princess herself who discovered the crime scene. Order! I will have order! The royal Princess Zelda witnessed the crime. Ha! And there you have it. This case rides on the princess's own words. To doubt it would be to doubt your own royalty. This is bad. I can't really object to that. Very well. If the princess is testifying today, it's better we don't make her needlessly wait. Detective, please testify about exactly why the defendant was arrested. It is with regret that I agree with Dragmire. All the evidence points towards this girl being the culprit. We determined that the murder definitely took place inside the ranch house. There were only 3 people on the ranch: the victim, the defendant, and a worker who has an alibi for the time of the crime. The defendant was found unconscious right in front of the victim, who was bleeding out onto the floor. Furthermore, she was holding a weapon. Without a doubt, that's what was used to kill the victim. She seems like such a bright girl. It's most unfortunate. Your Honour, I would like to submit these pieces of evidence to the court. First, I have an autopsy report performed by the Crown's top coroner. Okay. Here is what we determined to be the murder weapon, which we took from the defendant's hands. To make sure we had the correct weapon, we conducted a very thorough investigation. Naturally, we searched everyone and thoroughly examined the wrench in its vicinity. Nothing unusual was found, but to be safe, we also checked the wrench's inventory list to see whether anything was missing. The list matches the items we found on the wrench exactly, and nothing but the saw had fresh blood on it. That does sound quite compelling. This must have been a truly terrifying scene. Dying from a wound made by a weapon like this is extremely painful. This only helps to prove the defendant's viciousness. At this rate, they're going to paint Malon as some heartless monster. There is one more thing I should mention, for the sake of completeness. Shortly after we arrived at the ranch, a courier showed up to take some milk shipments. Of course, business must go on. Is this really necessary to enter into evidence, though? The shipments did end up leaving the ranch, so I feel it bears mentioning. Were the contents checked before you let them go? Naturally. Who do you take us for? Even though the worker handling the shipments did get quite worked up about it, we cracked all the boxes open to check what was inside. In the end, it did turn out to only be milk bottles, so we let them through. Very well. Thank you for your thoroughness, Detective. So, what happens now? Well, this is where I step in and perform cross-examination. Ah, great. How does that work? Huh? Could you explain what you're going to be doing? Can't hurt to go over this again. There's no time! Sorry, but there's no time for that. We have to get started right away. Oh, alright then. I'll just try my best to follow along. You know what you're doing? I sure hope so. This might not be easy. The custom animations are great. The defense is ready to cross-examine the witness. Bah! A waste of time. I sincerely hope you're not implying that standard court procedure is a waste of time, Mr. Dragmire. In any case, we're ready, defense. Please begin the cross-examination. Alright. Ooh, I love that. Hold it. What makes you think she's the culprit? She's just about to tell you. Keep quiet and listen. Right. Sorry. Indeed. As I was saying. Just how did you do that? It's quite simple. There was no blood found anywhere else. Had the victim been attacked at some other location, we'd expect a trail of it leading to the scene. Couldn't the killer have just cleaned it all up? Certainly not. The path to the ranch house at Lon Lon Ranch is not paved in any way. Cleaning blood off the ground would require disturbing the soil. Naturally, we found nothing of the sort. Bah! There would have been enough time to pull that off anyway. Likely true. Right, it sounds like the location of the crime scene is pretty firm. I'm not giving up yet. Three people, you say? I guess that would have to be Mr. Ingo. Let me stop you before you start getting too excited. If you had listened to the rest of what the detective said, you'd know she mentioned an alibi. Indeed. We're pretty certain that the ranch worker couldn't have been involved. Well, what is this alibi then? You might remember that I brought up some outgoing milk shipments. Well, the worker, Ingo, was in charge of them. He left the ranch house first thing in the morning, and was busy preparing the shipments after that. Is that so? Surely he couldn't have gone away from that for one really quick murder. Bah! This wouldn't just be a quick little murder as you so crudely put it. He'd have to have taken steps to hide his involvement too. There was definitely not enough time for that. Unfortunately, I agree. Preparing a shipment is a lot of work. You have to milk all the cows, clean all the bottles, Pulled the milk out into them, arranged them all into crates, and finally loaded it all up into a wagon. Usually I had to do it ever with Father to finish before the courier arrived. The shipments were already ready when we arrived at the ranch. When we checked the boxes, they were all fully loaded with filled milk bottles. So this Ingo was able to do the work of 2 people all on his own? Isn't that a bit odd?
Odd or not, he evidently did just that. Clearly he's a man dedicated to his job. Or perhaps Skill and her father are just very inefficient.
This whole thing seems awfully suspicious if you ask me. I guess I have nothing to dispute it with. Malum fainted? Correct. We couldn't get her to wake for a long time. Eventually we decided to administer a healing fairy so she could be questioned. I guess finding the body was just that much of a shock, huh?
Ha! Probably just pretending, trying to make it look like she had merely found the body.
In any event. And how can you be so sure of this? Look at the autopsy report.
Deep, irregular wound made with a sharp metal object.
The saw was the only implement in the ranch house that could produce such a wound. And as I've already mentioned, we also looked closely at all other sharp things on the ranch. None had recent blood on them. That still doesn't necessarily mean the saw was the murder weapon. Maybe the real culprit hid the real one.
Oh yeah? Prove it then. Show us the real murder weapon.
Well, I definitely don't have any way to do that. Still, something bothers me about that saw.
So, you have nothing? What a waste of time.
She sure is. We've known each other for years.
Yeah, she murdered her father in cold blood. How curious. Perhaps you're just bad judges of character. Both of you.
No way. Just give me some time and I'm going to prove it. Do you see anything wrong yet? Well, usually it's difficult to find anything wrong with the basic facts of the case. That said, I do think I saw one small thing. Really? That's great. Sure is. Because I've got to poke all the holes I can find before the princess gets here. With a sharp metal object. It's clean of blood. Yeah, okay, sure. This feels stupid. Yeah, she was fleeing out onto the floor. Then it couldn't have been cleaned as of yet. So how does one present? Okay, got it. Huh? This seems like a fairly large oversight. I just want to make sure of something. The state of the store is currently the state the store is currently in is how you found it at the crime scene? That's correct. That's strange, considering how much the victim bled out, and how deep his wound was. Why is there no blood on the supposed murder weapon?
Ha! Is that all you have?
Huh?
Naturally, the prosecution has an explanation for why the saw is clean. Behold, this cloth was found in the defendant's upper hand. As you can plainly see, it's stained with blood. The defendant simply wiped the murder weapon in a futile attempt to hide her involvement.
If Malum was trying to hide her involvement, why didn't she just leave the crime scene?
Bah! Obviously, she was trying to hide the body before the royal visitation arrived at the ranch. Fortunately for her, it just so happened the delegation arrived quite a bit earlier than scheduled. In a panic, she quickly wiped the sore off and pretended to faint to make it look like she'd just stumbled upon the scene.
Ah, young lady, things are not looking very good for you right now. The court accepts the bloodied cloth into evidence. So, what's the story of this cloth? Well, as I was doing a final check around the ranch, I noticed that part of the fence around the horse paddock was damaged. Not entirely sure when that happened, but sometimes one of the horses just gets a bit too rowdy, you know? Right. Anyway, I didn't want to bother Miss Ingo about it, so I tried to cut up a new rail by myself to patch it up. But then the sort of slipped, and I cut my hand open. Goodness, are you okay? Oh, goddesses, sorry. Well, it wasn't that bad. It did bleed quite a lot though, so I used that cloth to quickly bandage the wound. I was actually going into the ranch house to ask Father to help me with the fence.
Ha! A likely story. And impossible to verify now, of course. She, of course, had to use a fairy on the defendant to get her out of her supposed unconsciousness. I do have to give her some credit. She's one cunning woman. She knew that would explain the sudden lack of any wound on her hand. Oh, why yes, fairies are wonderful. Just the other day I slammed my hand with the gavel and one took the pain off immediately.
Great. Glad to know they're used for such important things. But, dang it. Too bad there's no way to tell whose blood is on the cloth.
I do believe this matter has been settled. I'm ready to call my next witness.
Uh-oh. Is that all I can get out of her?
You've served your purpose, Sheikah. Begone.
Fine. You had best treat Her Highness with respect, or I'll see to it that you spend the night in the dungeons.
Do not presume to threaten me, Sheikah. A night of darkness and solitude, with nothing but comfort for me.
Is that so? Well, perhaps we should fill the dungeons with lit candles for the occasion. They're glaring daggers at each other. If this doesn't end soon, we're all in trouble.
Order, order. I'm sure we'll treat the princess with the utmost respect. You may step down, detective. This case has already made me weary of all the pointless jabber. The time's right to deal the final blow. I'll call Her Highness Princess Zelda of Hyrule to the stand.
God, the old N64 models. Is something the matter? Why is everyone quiet all of a sudden?
Ah, Your Highness. I believe we're all just a bit uncertain on how to proceed. It is quite the honour to have such an esteemed guest in these halls. Bah! In the face of the law, the princess is no different from a peasant. Name an occupation, now!
The prosecution will behave. I will not have any derogatory statements directed at the princess.
Derogatory! I simply wish not to waste any more time. We must employ proper procedure.
Oh man. This is alright, detective. I believe the prosecution does have a point. In the eyes of the law, we are all equals. On this stand, I am just another witness. I should not be getting any special treatment.
Very admirable, Your Highness. We can all rest easy knowing that Hyrule is destined to have such a wise monarch in its future. Yes, indeed.
You plotting, scheming bastard.
I eagerly await the day when our next ruler takes the throne and reshapes the kingdom in their image.
Fucking obvious plotting is obvious. You flatter me, prosecutor. Now then, I believe I was asked for my name and occupation. I am Zelda, current princess of Hyrule and heir apparent to the throne.
Marvellous, Your Highness. Before we begin, I would just like to know, why were you at Lon Lon Ranch to witness this terrible incident?
Ah, it's simple really. Lon Lon Ranch is Hyrule Castle Town's biggest food supplier. Not only that, but the ranch also equips Hyrule's guard with the finest of horses. Every year the royal family makes a visit as a gesture of goodwill and to ensure the quality of the seeds. Wow, I didn't know your horses were used by the royal guard. Yep. We work hard every year to make sure they're in the best possible condition. Father loved to boast about it to the other ranch owners. Knowing Talon, I'm sure he did.
How unfortunate that the ranch may no longer meet the Crown's high standards under new management. The royal family has a backup, I trust.
We are looking for one. Naturally, those standards are quite high.
Yes, of course. Now then, please describe what you saw on the day of the incident.
Very well. Here I go. The scene behind the door. I arrived at Lon Lon Ranch a little after 8 AM, accompanied by my loyal guards.
Instant fact check.
Okay, that tracks. I remember being surprised at how quiet everything was. There was nobody there to welcome us. I could sense there was something wrong. I opened the door to the ranch house and went inside. The room was mostly empty. There was a table with some kind of crystal on top of it. But in front of the table, a terrifying scene was unveiling. The defendant hacked at the ranch owner's chest with the sword she was holding. I was overcome with fear. I screamed. I'll never forget what I saw that day. I heard that Talon and his daughter were incredibly kind. I could not believe she would commit such horrible violence. Wait, saying that she saw the murder? What?
Oh my, you saw the very moment the victim was killed. There you go. Decisive testimony. As there's no need to doubt the princess's statement, I call for the judge to make a ruling right away.
Hey now, hold on. I didn't get to cross-examine the witness yet.
You haven't, fool, because there's no need. Did you not hear one word of what I said?
Didn't you just say we should follow all the procedures and treat the princess like any other witness? This is the defense's right.
You're complete. I believe the defense has a point. They do have every right to perform a cross-examination, no matter who is testifying.
I was quite looking forward to this part myself. I've only ever read about court proceedings in the Royal Library.
That being said, I will not tolerate any reckless accusations towards the princess. Is that clear?
Naturally, Your Honour. How am I going to cross-examine the princess? This isn't going to end well. What's gone into the prosecutor? That seems like a rather intense outburst. Well, I do have a guess. Oh? Because of the princess's status, it's possible that Dragmire didn't have an opportunity to discuss her testimony with her. That might mean that this testimony is a surprise even to him. This could be my chance.
Before we begin, there's just one thing which caught my attention. I believe the princess mentioned seeing some kind of glass bottle at the crime scene. That would be this, I presume.
Why yes, that is exactly it. What is that? Oh, this is the bottle of perfume that Father intended to gift Her Highness when she arrived. He quickly rode out to town to get it at the last moment. He didn't know the princess was coming instead of the king until only about 2 hours before the visitation. Oh, how thoughtful. He really did not need to bother himself so.
As fascinating as this all is, the prosecution doesn't believe it's relevant to the case.
It's good to have a full picture of the crime scene. The defence requests the ball be accepted into evidence.
Desperate to latch onto every little thing, are you? Whatever. You can add it to the evidence if it'll make you happy. No skin off my teeth. In that case, the court accepts this bottle into evidence.
Okay.
Now then, defence, begin your cross-examination.
Little after 8 AM. If these guards were with Her Highness, why were they not called as witnesses?
We did question the guards, naturally. Apparently, they didn't get to see anything relevant.
I was the only one to enter the crime scene. After seeing what was inside, I stood guard and insisted that no one be allowed inside until the Sheikah force arrived. I've read that preserving the scene is vital.
Quite correct.
This is where Zelda's like the first murderer. I'm sure the guards were absolutely thrilled with this order.
Please proceed, witness.
Have you conducted these royal visitations in the past, Your Highness? Yeah, no. This was my first one. Up until last year, my father was always the one to visit Lon Lon Ranch. However, he decided I had to start preparing for all the royal duties that await me. And so I was to do it this time.
You will doubtlessly perform admirably as ruler when the time comes.
What happened when you got to the ranch house? And? What then?
Stop interrupting and let her get to the point. Defense. I believe I was clear about not badgering the witness.
Drat, I need to calm down. You paid attention to something like that after seeing a murder, Princess? Well, I spent a rather long time in there waiting for the Sheikah force to arrive. Plus that bottle is quite beautiful. It just stood out. Okay. You were there at the exact time of the murder, Your Highness? That is correct. That's impossible. You're lying.
The defendant will curb her outbursts. You're addressing royalty.
This is really bad. What about now? Accuse Zelda of the crime. Let's ask about the crime scene. Where were the victim and the defendants at this time? The ranch owner was in front of a little table that was directly across from the entrance door. The defendant was right in front of him, and quickly fainted after her attack. A large pool of blood started forming where the victim was. I had a rather good view of the whole scene. Right.
It is as unfortunate as it is fortunate that you could see the whole thing in such detail. Now, please continue.
Are you sure there wasn't anyone else at the ranch, Your Highness? No, the place looked empty. Although I did later see a worker pull up a loaded wagon when a courier came asking about milk shipments. He caused a little bit of a scene when the Sheikah force started inspecting it. That worker must have been seen somewhere else on the ranch, I suppose.
The ranch is pretty large. Said worker was inside a building on the other side. It's quite understandable she wouldn't have seen him until later.
Drat, this really doesn't give me a whole lot to work with. As much as I want to. I was overcome with fear and screamed, I will never forget what I saw that day. Are you sure you got a good look then, Your Highness? You didn't look away in panic.
The princess was very brave to take control of the situation the way she did. There is no need to doubt what she saw.
Yes, I suppose what she did was admirable. If only I had arrived earlier. Your Highness, don't blame yourself for this. If you'd arrived earlier, you could have been the one that got attacked.
Ha! So you would have lashed out at anyone trying to stop you, huh? Despicable.
That's not what she meant, and you know it. Princess, please go on. Very well. Trust your heart, Your Highness. You know Malon didn't do this.
What nonsense. A heart? What do our organs have to do with anything? Oh, of course. Evidence and testimony be damned, just because we feel the defendant must be innocent. Oh, well, if you're sure, then I declare today's verdict. Have you gone senile, old man? It was a joke, much like the arguments the defense has been presenting.
I can't believe the princess would lie like this. Yeah, it really is shocking. You don't believe her, right? Even if she's a princess, that means nothing. To trust authority or your best friend, I'll need something very concrete to disprove what the princess is saying. Okay, so That tracks. I mean, he died no later than 8 AM. Your Honour, Your Highness, I believe I found something that doesn't quite match up with the facts.
How dare you question the princess? You will let the defense speak, prosecutor.
I think I see why he so desperately wanted to prevent this cross-examination now. Your Highness, you said that you arrived at the ranch shortly after 8 AM, correct? Yes, the visit was scheduled for 8:30 exactly, but we were a bit early. I see. That makes something you mentioned quite impossible. As stated by the autopsy report, the victim definitely died before 8 AM. You couldn't have seen the defendant attack the ranch owner when you arrived, because the victim was already dead by then.
Order, order.
Yes, you've really caught her in a lie.
Your Highness, what is the meaning of this? While I wholeheartedly respect and serve the crown, I will nonetheless not tolerate lies in my court.
I have not lied, I suppose I did not see the exact moment it happened. I guess I only thought I did. Princess, this is a matter of life and death. I definitely saw the defendant there, though, along with the body. There was no one else who could have done it. I remember all of the other details correctly. The body's on the floor, the pool of blood. You have to believe me.
Perhaps it will be best if Her Highness revises her testimony.
That's not good. There's still not enough doubt to overturn this testimony. I'll have to find something else or this case will be over. I actually saw. I'm sorry for embellishing the truth a little bit. I did not see the actual moment of the attack, but it had to have happened shortly before I went into the ranch house. Miss Mellon and her father were the only ones at the scene of the crime, so she must be the culprit.
I see. You only saw the aftermath of the scene, not the actual crime being committed. Very well. Hopefully there are no issues in your testimony this time. Defense, it's time for your cross-examination.
Naturally, Your Honour. Dragmine still looks pretty angry. I bet he didn't expect such a blatant contradiction to pop up. If we can just find another one like that, his testimony will become completely untrustworthy in the eyes of the judge. Right, I shall be back in a moment. I'm just going to nip to the bathroom and top up a drink. Alright, let's get back to it. Sorry for embellishing the truth a bit. Why did you do that, Your Highness? There's a life on the line here. I really am sorry. I suppose I got a bit too excited about being a witness in an actual murder trial. Yeah, just double checking everything's running properly. Oh, okay. Really now. Most people hate testifying. Yes, well, the life of a princess is rather boring, you know. This is quite a break from routine for me. I should just get a hobby then. In that case, it can't be conclusively proven that the defendant did it.
Defense, did you exhaust your singular brain cell in that last contradiction you found? There's a deaf mountain's worth of evidence pointing to the defendant. Just because no one saw the actual moment of the crime doesn't mean anyone else could have done it.
I think you're making a deaf mountain out of a deaf molehill. How can you be so sure of that, Princess? Well, when I entered the ranch house, the victim still had the murder weapon embedded into his body.
What?
Well, that's not possible. It is obvious what that means, is it not? The killer did not have enough time to try to hide the weapon. Yes, I might not have seen the murder firsthand, but I must have been very close to doing so.
Oh my, this seems like a very important detail. I think it would be advisable for Her Highness to amend her testimony.
Certainly, Your Honour. Interesting. Jeremiah certainly doesn't look very happy about this development, does he? Thinking about it, I might just know why. I believe I found another reason to doubt the witness's words. Since the prosecution sees what I'm getting at here. There was a bloody cloth discovered at the scene of the crime. The prosecution has argued before that it could be used to wipe the sore clean. The princess saw the sore lodged into Talon's body, and the crime scene was left intact. Then it couldn't have been wiped. Well, Prosecutor Dragmire, care to explain?
Ah! This is most perplexing. Your Highness, are you sure that's what you saw? Well, maybe the princess decided to pull the sword out in a valiant yet futile attempt to save the victim.
And then wipe the blade clean?
That would be almost like framing the defendant.
Of course I did no such thing. I made sure the crime scene stayed intact. I guess I must have made up the memory about the sword sticking out of Mr. Talon as well.
You idiotic girl. Do you even realise what you've done through your bumbling?
I'm sorry. I was just so excited to stand as a witness in court just this once. Whenever I try telling my father about anything, he always seems so disinterested. Just this once I wanted to feel listened to. The defendant it is clear that she did it. Something about paying for her crime. I'm sorry for the trouble I have caused you all.
Your Highness, the court is no place for silly games. As it stands, I'm afraid we will have to strike your statements from the court record completely.
Yes! I did it! The prosecution has lost their key witness. So now what? No, please wait. I have more to say. I was wrong about the crime scene, but I still have not testified about what I saw afterwards.
Bah! Why would we care about that? It's best that you leave and stop damaging my case with your idiocy.
Even if you're not interested in my words, you might be interested in the evidence I found.
What?
Huh?
Evidence?
Of course. While the Sheikah Force investigated inside the wrench house, I looked around the rest of the wrench on my own.
Sheikah, did you know about this?
Humph. Of course I did. You did?
I'll have your head for this. Order, order. What is the meaning of this, detective? Why have you withheld this from the court?
It's quite simple. The princess specifically requested to present her finding on her own.
What? And you agreed to this? This court is not some playground where children decide what evidence should be presented just because they have a crown.
He's being rude about it, but I can't help but agree with Dragmire on this one. Also, I don't really buy this story. There's no way Impa would have allowed this. Believe me, I wasn't thrilled with the request either. However, after seeing the evidence in question, I didn't think it would be at all important to the case. Thus, I let the princess have her fun.
This is highly irregular. I'm not sure how I feel about this.
Prosecutor. There are some nice little references here.
Bah. Naturally, I object to this nonsense. The detective thinks it's irrelevant, then this is probably just a waste of time. All the evidence points to the defendant. It's still clear she did it, even without a witness at the scene. I see. Defense.
What do we do? If we object to presenting the evidence, then Dragmire loses his key witness. Plus, whatever the princess presents could be bad for our case too. So we should agree with the prosecution? Well, on the other hand, we don't really have much to go on. This could be our only lead left.
Well, don't keep us waiting. Surely you won't throw away all the progress you've made thus far.
What do I do? Ooh. Yeah, screw it, let's see what I found. I really hope this is the right choice. The defense requests that the evidence be presented.
What?
While I agree that the situation is irregular, we should still examine all evidence available. It would be silly to dismiss it as irrelevant without seeing proceedings.
I do believe you have a point, defense. However, I must warn you. In order to admit this piece of evidence into the court record, the princess's statement for she found it must be admitted as testimony, along with everything else she might say.
Yes, Your Honour, I am well aware. The defence wishes to give the princess one more chance.
Of all the idiotic foolish! Order. Very well then. Your Highness, please testify once more about the new piece of evidence you found during your own investigation.
Thank you. I will not let you down this time, I promise. The princess should understand the gravity of the situation, and I just hope this new evidence isn't damaging to our case. I wish to express the most heartfelt apologies for my mistakes in the earlier testimony. Upon entering the ranch house, I saw the defendant passed out in front of the victim, who was bleeding out. I stood guard at the entrance of the ranch house until the Sheikah forces arrived. Once the Sheikah started investigating the crime scene, I decided to take a look around the ranch. While I was walking near the silo, I noticed a strong odour in the air. I had to stop to see where it was coming from. I followed the scent and found a burned-out fire nearby, and a small, nearly empty bottle of lamp oil. I, of course, took the bottle straight to the head detective. And here it is. The oil bottle I found. Is something wrong? Oh no. This might actually be completely irrelevant.
Yes, well. Of course there is, foolish girl. This has nothing to do with the case. Your great finding is just some random fire on a ranch, please. What next? Are you going to declare every rake on the premises suspicious?
Well,
The prosecution will calm down.
This is bad. Your Honour, despite the fact that this evidence might not seem to add anything at the moment, The defence still asserts its right to a cross-examination. Some straws have been grasped.
Why must you insist on this charade defence? The princess has merely recounted the same view of the crime scene as the head detective. You haven't been able to find any contradictions in her statements.
Now, I believe there might be a way to tie the princess's new evidence into the case.
Ridiculous!
Regardless of what the prosecution thinks, the defence does have a right to a cross-examination. The court had missed the oil bottle into evidence. I just really hope this isn't a complete waste of time, defence. For both your own sake and your client's. Is that actually written in like the Hylian text or something? Okay, first of all, let's go through. Are you serious?
That's only to press the princess on her apology.
That's pretty funny.
You only wasted the chance for our testimony.
Yes, defence. Please get to the point. Yikes. Cool. Was there anything else in the room? Only the beautiful little crystal model I mentioned before. The house was rather barren. Most of our things are on the top floor, since the downstairs room is mostly just it's for ranch business these days. And the occasional game. Ah, of course. Dad's famous cuckoo game. The good old days.
Was the defence done reminiscing? There'll be plenty of time to do that when the defendant's behind bars.
I was just trying to distract myself from the fact there's nothing to latch on to here. Did anything happen during that time? No, not by recall. The guards did occasionally protest and asked me to let them take over, but I held my stance.
While commendable in theory, staying in the same room as some dangerous killers and very wise. But she woke up and lashed out at you. Sweet Hylia up above.
That thought did not occur to me.
Bah! Of course not. Foolish girl.
But the guards did stand close by. I would have been safe.
Wonderful to see how much our faith our princess has in our royal guard.
Yes, of course I do. In any case. Look around the ranch. You didn't just go home. The royal visitation was supposed to last a lot longer. Father was not expected back at the castle until much later. I came to the ranch to examine the horses, so I supposed I could at least do that in the meantime. How long did it take the Sheikah to arrive at the scene? It does not take very long to make the trip from Hyrule Castletown to Lon Lon Ranch. I cannot imagine it was more than 20 minutes. That is pretty fast. Although I imagine the fact that the princess was involved helped speed it up.
Slowpokes. I would be there in half that time, running backwards even. I suppose it's no surprise, though. Hylian horses are naturally inferior to our fighting Gerudo steeds.
The Gerudo buy the horses from our ranch as well? Just don't bother, he's trying to rile you up. Why would that time matter? What's the smell like? Oh, it was awful. A truly terrible stench.
Surely you don't mean to say that you found the smell of horsemen you were suspicious.
Don't be ridiculous. The smell was not coming from the horses. What was burned then? Fire, huh?
Now, let me remind you, Defense, there's any number of reasons why a fire could have been there. You can still feel the cold grass of death early in the morning.
Princess, How long would you estimate the fire had been out for before you found it? Ah, right. There was still smoke rising out of the ashes, so it must have been put out recently. So around the time of the crime.
So someone prepared their breakfast there. I repeat, this fire is irrelevant.
I think he's realised the same thing I did. Well, who was it? Who could have lit that fire anyway?
It would have to have been the ranch worker who was putting the milk shins together at the time. It was almost certainly him. If you really want to ask about this little barbecue, you might just get your wish soon.
Doesn't sound like it was very appetizing. Without anything concrete to pin on him, he'll just be able to brush it off. That sounds like you didn't. Right, and she allowed you to present it. Well, I was the one to find it, and since I was going to the trial anyway.
Also ridiculousness. Yes, please make this the last time you do something like this, Your Highness. Proper procedures exist for a reason.
Yes, I understand. Okay.
Defense, I believe this is enough. It doesn't seem like you're getting any closer to finding a connection between this fire and the crime at all.
No, I suppose not, Your Honour.
Naturally. I've said this was a waste of time from the beginning. In that case, this cross-examination is over. Thank you for your time, Your Highness. I assume you have no more revelations to share with us.
No, I do not. I really thought the fire would be important.
Leave my sight.
Enough. Your Highness, if you'd allow me to escort you back to Hyrule Castle. Very well.
Now that the princess's little game is over, we should move this along. The prosecution's stance is still the same, of course. You maintain that the evidence on its own is enough to convict the defendant. I do believe I am nearly ready to hand down my verdict.
But Your Honour, there's nothing that definitively shows that Malon committed the crime. This is all circumstantial. There's no way she could kill her own father.
Ah, that is an excellent point, defense. The prosecution has yet to elaborate on the defendant's motive. Patricide is not something a person commits lightly. Bah! I did briefly touch on the subject during my opening statement. But naturally, the prosecution is fully prepared to elaborate on the matter. I'd like to call in my third witness.
That has to be the ranch worker.
Before calling him in, though, the prosecution requests a brief recess to prepare.
I thought you said you were already prepared. Maybe he wants to double check that his new witness won't pull anything weird like the princess did.
Very well. I do believe a break would benefit us all. The court will reconvene after a 15-minute recess. The court is adjourned.
This is pretty cool so far. I like it. It's not going all that well, is it? No, I think that went about as well as it could have, actually. Given the circumstances. We exposed the worst of the princess's testimony as untrue. Oh, I can't believe she'd just make stuff up like that. Yeah, that was surprising. Still, the issue is that we didn't manage to shape the core of the argument. If only there was anyone else in that house. Now, there's no need to look so glum. Detective, aren't you supposed to be escorting the princess back? The carriage is being prepared. I thought I'd drop by in the meantime. You've really managed to make Dragmire furious, you know. I have. If you listen carefully, you might just be able to hear him ranting over in the prosecutor's lobby. All the Dorias. Ah. He's really giving his upcoming witness a grilling. Expect him to try to shut you down as fast as he can. Well, that would be worrying if I had anything he could shut down in the first place, I guess. Oh, but you do. What do you mean? Oh, come on now. I'm talking about the princess's grand discovery, of course. Fire, that's... I wasn't able to do anything with that. You really think it's relevant? Don't get me wrong, at present I'm convinced the girl did it. We investigated and came to this conclusion for a reason. But I am willing to explore every possibility. That fire is definitely a bit strange, and I dare say it may be your only way out of this. If I may be so bold, I think you should press the next witness on that topic hard. As the only other person working on the ranch at the time, he is the only one who could have lit that fire. If he is hiding something, I think the court deserves to know. The thing is, the next testimony is about the motive. It's going to be difficult to bring up the fire again without Dragmire objecting. You'll have to make it work. As much as I don't like it, she's right. There really isn't a whole lot else to go on here. Well, thank you. Don't mention it. One last thing. You, ranch girl. Me? Try not to hold that testimony against the princess. Believe me, I am sure she was acting with the best of intentions in mind. Humph. You know the road to the Dark Realm is paved with those, right? Perhaps. It was definitely a serious lapse of judgment, one she will live to regret. Part of this comes from the fact that she's rather sheltered and inexperienced. After the sudden death of her older sister last year, she was thrust into the role of an heir very suddenly. Ooh, backstory. That's right, the mysterious death of the firstborn Princess Zelda. Hyrule still grieves after the events of that day. That's why we've got Child Zelda. Okay! And yet no one knows what exactly happened. In the void of information, conspiracy theories run amok. People blaming the Royal Guard, the Sheikah, and even the King himself. The princess will soon have a whole kingdom's worth of troubles on her shoulders. For a kingdom with a history as turbulent as ours, it's a lot to handle. The princess's conduct today probably won't help with the distrust some people have of the crown right now, though. She's wise beyond her years. She will learn and she will be better. I simply ask that you don't think of her as an enemy, whatever comes of this trial. She does not need more than she already has. Wow, she's so intense. I never expect to see him get so emotional. I guess all this is why she decided to take the blame for the princess's impromptu investigation.
Detective Impa.
What is it, soldier? I am quite busy at the moment, so please be quiet.
The investigation team is back at the ranch. It's just sent word of a new development. Something about a milk shipment being returned to the ranch because of a wrong recipient address. They're asking you to come over to see it.
Oh, those idiots. I don't have time for this. Send someone else. I have to escort the princess to the castle.
Roger. Roger, you're the one going over there.
That did remind me, though. I took this bottle of milk from a couple of guards who were slacking on the job earlier. Here, ranch girl. Perhaps it will help calm your nerves somewhat. Not to worry. It's still unopened. Oh? Thank you. That's nice of her. Too bad for those guards, though. Now, I believe the princess's carriage should be prepared by now. If you'll excuse me. I think I'm so nervous right now. Milk has just lost its flavour. Huh? Lost its flavour? But all milk is always so tasty. Are you sure it's just nerves? Let me try some. Huh? Right. I assume this would have come from one of yesterday's shipments. Probably. The investigation at the ranch, there won't be any today, so maybe it just isn't fresh. No, I don't think so. It doesn't really taste as if it's gone bad. Also, the guard said that one of yesterday's shipments was misaddressed, didn't he? This was all handled by Ingo, wasn't it? I think there's something odd going on. Better make some notes about this in the court record.
Defense, the court is about to reconvene. Escort your client back to the courtroom at once.
So it comes down to this. Conclusion's approaching. Time to turn the investigator's head. Yeah, I've still got 5 hearts, it's all good. Oh, he's actually looking at us this time.
court is back in session for the trial of Malon of Lon Lon Ranch. I trust that the prosecution's final witness is ready. Naturally, I've personally seen to it that there will be no foolishness this time round.
Hopefully his ears are intact.
As we discussed before the recess, having established the opportunity and means for the defendant to have committed the murder, only one matter remains. The matter of motive. For naturally, such a heinous crime couldn't be the result of a mere happenstance. The prosecution believes the defendant had a deep desire to push to the patricide. Our next witness can shed light on the matter. Fascinating. Very well, please proceed. Prosecution calls the ranch worker Ingo to the stand.
Oh god. It's funny to see Mr. Ingo in such fancy clothes. Oh? Yeah, he almost always just wears his work dungarees. It's almost like looking at a different person. Well, I guess he wants to dress up for court. And you wouldn't want to get his nice outfit dirty by working in it.
Quiet, defense. Witness, state your name and occupation.
Your Honour, Great Honourable Prosecutor, my name is Ingo. I mind Lon Lon Ranch.
Mind? What does this entail exactly?
I'm mostly there to work on the structures and equipment. The owner and his daughter are the ones who tend to the animals and take care of their orders. Some sick art for a streamer. Yeah, go on.
How long have you been working at the ranch?
It'll be several years at this point. There have been others who came and went, but I, Ingo, have persevered through all the hardships. Sounds like he wants a medal for it. Well, he does get a bit pompous at times, but Mr. Ingo really is a great help. He built the ranch's silo single-handedly. Whoa, that's some dedication.
Very well. Given that you're clearly an important employee, you're privy to some inside information, is that correct?
Yes. The ranch owner shared all the big plans with me. He trusted me implicitly. He used to say that we're like a big family.
That sounds lovely.
That sounds like a red flag, but you're going to be getting loads of unpaid overtime. Thank you, Link.
Evidently, not every member of your so-called family felt the same way, though, did they?
It hurts to do this, but I have no choice. Hear my story, Honourable Court of Law. So fucking bouncy. Just a couple of days ago, the owner, Talon, partly signed the ranch over to his daughter Malon. Talon became a life tenant, with Malon meant to inherit all of the assets after his death. As long as Talon lived, Malon could not sell the ranch. It's simple, isn't it? The girl killed Talon to get full ownership and leave the dingy ranch life behind. It's appalling how ungrateful she is after all Talon did for her. Will do. Probably do that after the stream. Who was it for, by the way?
There you have it. Testimony from a man who just lost everything. It's truly tragic to witness yet another family torn apart by greed. We have evidence. We have the defendant caught red-handed at the scene of the crime. And now we have a motive.
How do you know he's telling the truth?
Bah! I have of course verified the witness's testimony. As per the law, all inheritance documents must be filed in the Castletown Notary Office to be considered valid. I still fit to prepare this for the trial. The prosecution would like to submit the Lon Lon Ranch inheritance document in evidence.
This thing go. Why would you?
You should pass judgment now, Judge. The defense has nothing.
I'd like to cross-examine the witness. A few more details I feel are relevant. But of course, just whatever you like. I, the hard-working Ingo, can handle it.
Very well, defense. Please begin.
How long ago was this exactly? 3-4 days. I'm not sure about the exact date. Had it been planned for a long time? Talon was getting on in years. Better to take care of the matter sooner than later, eh? Malon? He is telling the truth. Father scheduled a visit to the notary office about a week ago. What do you mean by partly witness? So Malon hadn't become the ranch owner yet? Well, of course not. Haven't you heard all the stories making rounds recently? So many ungrateful brats throwing their old folks into retirement homes the moment ownership signed to them. Talon was no fool. I myself convinced him that it was the safer option. If the girl was up to some chicanery, he could always reverse his decision. That's horrible, I'd never do that. As much as I'd like to believe that, you did much worse by killing him. Children these days, you feed them, you raise them, and they pull a stunt like this as soon as you give them an inch of yourself.
I must concur the younger generation's horrible.
Why do you look at me while saying that? Anyway, what that meant was... But why would Malon want to sell the ranch right now? Why wouldn't she want to? Why would a pretty little girl like her want to work on some dingy ranch? She'd have it much better if she sold the old place and used the money to move to Castletown. That's not true. I love working with the animals. I wouldn't leave them for anything. What? She's often slacking on the job, while I, the hard-working Ingo, have to cover for her. I guess the Deku nut doesn't fall far from the tree, as they say. That Talon looked to sleep on the job too.
Oh, I do recall a quite funny story about the Lon Lon Ranch owner blocking the side entrance to Hyrule Castle for an entire day once. The guards couldn't wake him up. He took a particularly vocal cuckoo, apparently.
Ah, jeez. Well, there you go. I am the real reason why the ranch was such renown. Me, the hard-working Ingo. Link, that's not true at all. I know. How do I stop this? Do you really think Malon would go that far? I don't want to think it, but clearly the events speak for themselves, don't they? Why wouldn't she just wait a few more years then? Talon was getting older. Perhaps she knew more and more work would be piling onto her. But really, how am I supposed to know? Ask her. That's alright. Well, if Malon didn't want to work, wouldn't she have done this earlier? As Talon's only child, she'd still inherit the ranch. That's where you're wrong. For a long while, Talon planned to split the ranch between the girl and the crown. He was a patriotic man. He knew how much those horses meant to the Royal Guard. I wish he hadn't changed his mind now. Is this true? Yes. Father's previous inheritance document did work that way.
How admirable. I guess familial bonds won over his drive to help the kingdom. Truly a shame.
Yes. Naturally, the girl wanted the whole thing, so she bided her time.
I think this sufficiently explains the timing. Let's continue, shall we?
Wait just a moment. There's one more problem with the timing that I'd like the witness to explain. Why would Malon have planned the murder for the day of the royal visitation specifically? More people around means more witnesses. You'd think she would have chosen any other day. Oh, I did forget to mention this. I overheard Talon arguing with her that very morning. He was telling her he'd changed his mind again. He was planning to tell the king that he'd been signing the ranch over to the crown. After the visitation was over, he'd head to Castletown to change the inheritance back to the original split.
What? Despite the victim's wishy-washiness, it would appear he did make the right choice in the end. And because of that choice, the defendant wanted to get the ranch. She had no time to waste that day.
Is this true too? Absolutely not. Father wasn't planning to do that, and there was no argument either. What to do about this argument then? There was an argument about the inheritance. That sounds like an important fact to me. The defense requests it be added to the testimony.
Very well. Witness, please do so.
I'd be happy to, Your Honour. What time did you hear this? At what time did this happen? First thing in the morning. I was heading out to the silos to start the day's work. I just walked out from the front door of the ranch house when I heard some yelling erupt behind me. Do you remember any specifics about what was said? Oh yes, it surprised me enough that I stopped to listen for a minute. It was all like,
I'm really sorry, Malon, but the most important thing is to make sure the king will always have a steady supply of quality horses.
I don't care. What about me, Father? How can you do this to me?
Malon, this isn't just about you. It's for the good of the entire kingdom.
Well, what am I supposed to do? I can't move up in life if I'm stuck on this dump of a ranch forever.
I thought you loved the ranch. All the animals are here, and Ingo's always around to help with the chores too. He's pretty great, isn't he?
Yeah, Ingo is awesome, but I still hate you for this.
What a stirring reenactment. I will keep my thoughts on the witness's acting skills to myself.
There's no way this actually happened, though. Alan would never want to sell the ranch.
Well, of course you'd say that now, you buffoon. Remember, she's under suspicion for murder. We can't trust a thing she says.
Well, I trust her, but the judge probably doesn't right now, and that's unfortunately what matters. Do I have anything in the court record that could refute this story?
If you ask me, this whole inheritance issue could have been avoided if the crown wasn't so soft. In Gerudo Desert, there'd be no question that the fortress may seize whatever it desires.
That's just messed up.
No matter. Continue your testimony, farmhand. Show us the true nature of the defendant.
No, you hold it. That man gave everything for her. She's gotten so many expensive presents over the years. Just look at the golden necklace she's wearing. That man spoiled her rotten. In fact, I think I saw another present he was meaning to give her on the very day he was killed. Another gift? Why yes, a little bottle of perfume, I believe. It's horrible. Talon was such a kind man. What happened to him is despicable. Yeah, go on. Like the perfume to be added to the testimony.
Bah! What are you doing? Trying to implicate the defendant even harder?
I think it's an important detail.
Perfume is irrelevant. But I suppose the prosecution has no objections to strengthening our case. Very well, witness. Please add what you just said to your testimony.
Witness. What is it? Just to confirm, you say that this bottle of perfume was bought from Malon by her father, correct? Who else would it be for? I assure you, Talon wasn't the type to indulge in perfumes, far from it. Well, you're wrong, witness. I don't think this is really important, but...
Oh, is that so? Was the Manchona truly a perfume connoisseur?
No, Your Honour. This bottle of perfume was bought for the princess.
So what, defense? Sure, it's technically a contradiction, but what does the purpose of this bottle change? Yes, defense, I admit I'm confused as well. Please explain why this point is important.
Earlier in the trial, Malon mentioned that Talon bought this perfume in preparation last minute. Oh, yeah. Isn't that right, Malon? Sure is. We had a gift for the king prepared when the news arrived that it would actually be the princess making the visitation. Father quickly rode out into town to get a new gift. This info puts one thing into question. Somebody's movements around the ranch are put into serious doubt. Someone's.
Well, don't keep us waiting then. Who is this person?
Naturally, the person whose moves become suspect is...
Ingo! Luigi!
The witness himself. If you recall, this bottle of perfume, which had just been purchased, was found at the crime scene. The crime scene the witness supposedly never went to. He shouldn't have known about the bottle. Gandalf doesn't look too worried.
Order, order. The defense raises a very valid point. You simpleton, what is the meaning of this?
Well, witness, did you go to the scene of the crime at any point? No, of course I didn't. I remember I saw the gift the day before the crime. The girl is lying. Talon must have gotten the gift the day before. You're the one who's lying. Father didn't leave the ranch at all that day.
One's word against another's. Defense, do you have any way to prove that your version of events is true?
Why don't we send a soldier to ask the store owner when the bottle was bought?
Bah! Do you know how many people visit that store? Send conceivable the owner would remember every random purchase. Any other ideas, defense?
When you buy something, you usually get a receipt, and the receipt always shows the date of purchase. It might still be at the ranch house. I say we send someone out to look for it. Father never throws receipts away. We have a drawer full of them. The perfume one should be right on top.
I believe this idea has some merit. Soldiers, rush out to the ranch house immediately and search for that receipt.
Your Honour,
Yes? What is it, soldier?
we have just received the receipt from the team station at the crime scene.
Very well. Thank you. I shall now read it out.
There's a lot writing on this.
From Tingle's Mysterious Smells. Ah, yes, I think I've seen that store. It's that eccentric-looking place in the back alley. You couldn't miss the blinding neon colours if you tried. It's an eyesore. The gall of this nobody running a monopoly on Hylian perfume is preposterous. Perhaps, but back to the matter at hand. The nerve of that dunderhead. Why would anyone ever shop at a store where the owner calls every other customer a fairy? Prosecutor. The balloons, oh the balloons! That fool popped one right in my face. Prosecutor Dragmire, enough. Continuing on, purchased item 1 bottle of Rosy Rupee Land. Oh my, this is quite the price. Why, I would have to...
Your Honour, please, the date of purchase.
Ah, yes, right. Date of purchase. Why, it's March 16th, the day of the murder. Yeah. Order, order.
Yes, we got him. Phew, I think we're finally getting somewhere.
Bah! This still doesn't mean anything. Perhaps the witness briefly went back to the ranch house or something and saw the bottle then.
Yes, that's it. I was getting thirsty, so I went back to get a drink. I must have seen the bottle then. Oh, come on! Do you think we're going to believe that?
Do you have any proof that he didn't?
Well, I
believe this calls for further testimony, as the witness now claims to have visited the crime scene shortly before the murder. We should learn of his exact movements that day.
Ha! My movements? Well, alright. There's not a whole lot to say, though. It's unfortunate that he managed to weasel out of that. But this next testimony will be full of lies. This is my chance. My non-suspicious movements. As was already stated, I had volunteered to work in the silo. At one point I briefly went back to the ranch house to get myself a glass of water. I went back to the silo right after that, and I stayed there until the courier came. I haven't been to the ranch house at all since then. At some point the detective came and told me what happened, and wow, was that detective one fine woman. God damn it, Ingo. See? I haven't done anything to warrant suspicion. Eat my shoes, you brat. I'll pass. There has to be something wrong in there. You can't put a flawless story together that quickly. Does he have an earring? What were you doing? Working on shipments and fulfilling orders. We send out crates of milk to milk bars all across the kingdom every day, you know. Milk bars? Naturally, everyone loves a good drink, you know. And our milk is renowned as the best there is. I hear some others water theirs down, despicable. I see. I think you said earlier that your job was to work on the structures and equipment, though. Indeed. Talon and the girl would usually be the ones overseeing the milk orders. However, since the royal visitation was happening that day, I felt they needed their minds unoccupied, so I took it upon myself to do it this time. After the murder, I got scared that the Sheikah force's investigation would delay the shipment, but I, the great Ingo, would get the blame. Thankfully, it all went through fine. Yeah, and you were so concerned with sending it off quickly that you wrote the wrong delivery address on it.
Bah! You Hylians, ridiculous. Getting tipsy from something like milk. But you couldn't handle even a sip of the Gerudo's noble suit. A real man's drink.
A real man's drink? Aren't most of the Gerudo women?
Speaking of drinks, I believe the witness was talking about how he had gotten himself a glass of water.
Yes, of course. Moving all that heavy stuff around works up a sweat, you see. I got very thirsty and... You didn't think to just take a sip of the milk you were handling? No. It wouldn't be right. That milk was for the customers, you see. I just didn't want to get into any trouble.
A truly honest man. How dare you suggest me to steal from his old place?
Right. So what did you see at the house? Nothing much. I got my drink and left. Still had a lot of work to do, you see. I suppose I must have seen the perfume bottle then. In fact, yes, I remember it clearly now. It was there, on the table, plain as day. Great.
What happened after that, witness?
And you were able to complete this so quickly on your own? Bah! You don't know the might of the great Ingo. Hut! Yeah! Pow! Wham! I get things done in no time. I did almost break my back guessing those crates out of the silo, though. There were so many, and all so heavy, it was all like a puzzle in there. Anyway, that's not important. The point is... Are you sure? Sure as can be. You never went back in, even after the crime was discovered. Bah! They wouldn't let me in. Preserving the crime scene or some such. I couldn't even guess any of my things. After I was questioned, no one gave me half a glance. I had to sleep in the stables that night. That's what he just said important. Your Honour, I would like the witness to add this last statement to his testimony. What? What are you trying to pull now?
Very well. Witness, please amend your statement.
Yeah, fine. Whatever. Couldn't you have stayed in an inn? Bah, what am I, made of money? Think, boy. I'm just a simple ranch worker, you know. Phew, you lawyers always flaunting your wealth. Right, sorry. Not actually sorry. I doubt one night would bankrupt this guy. Just look at what he's wearing. Could you elaborate? No, please don't elaborate. She's a hard-working woman who gets to the point and takes what she wants. Not to mention her impeccable fashion sense. What's not to love? That's not the part I wanted him to elaborate on. Wow, he seems totally smitten with her. Sure does. I wonder how Impa feels about it. Perhaps when this chore of a trial is over I could... But no, it will have to wait. You thought you could distract me, did you? I, the genius ranch... Okay, Ingo, see through your schemes. He's sticking to that story, huh? Yeah, it was a desperate fix, but it holds up surprisingly well. I can hardly believe this is the same Mr. Ingo I know. He's usually so nice. It's time to press for more details. He's sure to slip up somewhere. There has to be a piece of evidence or profile waiting to disprove what he's saying. I went back to the silo right after that and stayed there until the courier came. Miles' hands, clean of blood. Ranch inventory. Haven't left. Haven't seen the crime. Princess oil bottle. Sugar run. Bottle of milk. Nope, that's not what I meant to do. Oh, wait. Duh. What about what he's wearing? Nail it. Witness, there's something seriously wrong with your testimony. What? What are you talking about? You say you couldn't get any of your belongings because they were all at the ranch house, correct? A ranch house you were not allowed to go in. That's right. Well, that would imply you should still be wearing your work clothes. Pardon me if I'm wrong, but those don't look like your work clothes at all.
The defense has a point. The witness appears pretty well dressed for court. I can't imagine he would want to sully those clothes during work.
Well, what do you have to say to that? Oh, of course. I can explain. It's simple. These are brand new. Yeah. On my way to the courthouse, I went shopping for a nice new outfit. After all, I couldn't very well show up to a court dressed like a bum.
Yes, defense. Certain people have a modicum of respect for the court, and show up dressed appropriately.
What's that supposed to mean? This is my finest Zora saloon. So you claim you bought these clothes after the crime, is that correct? Very much so. This morning, in fact. Why do I need to repeat myself? You buying those clothes today is simply impossible. What?
Oh, how can you claim so? Defense, as you know, evidence is everything in court. You've proved the witness couldn't have bought these clothes today. Well, get out.
Shawls, pipes, pandas, towing harnesses, counters, rings, Garden hose. Saddles, horseshoes, brooms, towing harnesses. Horse powders. No, those are actually just. Oh, wait. Is he in them for the pictogram? He is! I would like to turn the court's attention to this.
Why, this is one lovely pictograph. Ah, it reminds me of the idyllic days I spent with my grandson down by the pond. What about this pictograph defense?
Well, just look at what Ingo is wearing. This photo is from Marlon's childhood, but Ingo is very clearly wearing the same outfit he has on right now. Suck it. He couldn't have bought it today.
Order, I will have order. Why the defense is absolutely correct. I hope the witness has a good explanation for this.
God damn it, Dragmire. Oh, unless some weasels out of it for him.
Ah, isn't it obvious? Naturally, the witness knew he would need to wear his nice clothes for the royal visitation that was scheduled for that day. He brought them to the silo in advance so he could quickly change just before the royal visitation's arrival.
Oh? Oh! Oh! Yes, of course, I need to be presentable after all. Can't look like a bum in front of the most important people in the kingdom. Wait a minute, this is insane. What kind of kangaroo court is this? The prosecution keeps making excuses up on the spot. Ingo was clearly lying about buying the clothes before the trial. Your Honour, surely you won't accept this blatant perjury.
Accepted, Judge. There can be no other explanation.
The prosecution's explanation does seem plausible. What?
However, the fact that the witness didn't simply say it himself and instead made up a lie about buying the clothes is indeed very suspicious. Defense. The prosecution has posed that there is no other possible explanation for this contradiction. What is your opinion on the matter? Can the defense think of an alternative version of events?
This is big, I really need to think this through. Oh, it's doing the... Oh, that's cool. Ingo is acting really suspicious right now. He's desperately trying to patch up holes in his testimony to conceal his real movements. Okay, we're nearing the end then. Why would he be doing that?
Ingo is the victim!
No, Ingo is the murderer. If it's not Marlon, Ingo is the only other person who could have done this. I have to assume he did, if I want to think Marlon is innocent. With that in mind, why would Ingo change out of his work clothes? Why have to make it necessary? When Ingo killed Talon, his clothes must have gotten blood on them. Also, he's using the free gods. I like it. He had to change into something else to hide his involvement. But then, wouldn't the Sheikah force have found the clothes in the house? How would they have disappeared?
They were thrown in a fire! Okay, that's pretty sick. Ingo burned his clothes.
That's it. This explains everything. I believe I can offer an alternative explanation.
Nonsense. Judge, the defense spent far too long sitting in silence just now. I call for a quick ruling.
And not only can I explain it, but in fact, the defense formally accuses the witness of murder. No! It's simple. The reason he had to swap out his outfit, and why he's been lying about the circumstances ever since, is because it got stained with the victim's blood.
Preposterous. If there were any discarded bloody clothes nearby, the Sheikah force would have found them, and would be trying someone else for murder right now.
Why, you are absolutely correct, prosecutor. Naturally, Ingo couldn't have left his bloody clothes lying around, and so he used this to dispose of them. Your Honour, cast your mind to the princess's last testimony.
The princess's... Ah, that mysterious fire. Surely you jest. You yourself made sure we all knew how meaningless her testimony was.
And yet, with this new context in mind, it gains a completely new meaning. An empty bottle of lamp oil found by a burned out fire. Ingo used his lamp oil to quickly burn away his stained work clothes. Well, how about it, witness? My scenario explains everything. You killed Talon and then tried to hide it. This is... No! Hold on. What drivel are you spouting here? Me? Kill Talon? You already know that's impossible. Too busy for murder? What a fucking title. Everything you've said is wrong. I have no idea what you're on about. I have an alibi for the time of the crime. I just couldn't have done it. There's no way I could have completed those milk shipments, killed Talon, and tried to hide my involvement. The fire was just for a quick breakfast. There's no mystery there. Stop trying to pin this on poor innocent Ingo. We need some deeds.
Now I shouldn't have to remind you, defense, but you yourself were surprised that Ingo was able to complete the shipment in time. Adding even more things for him to do in that time is preposterous.
That's right. The great Ingo is efficient at his job, but not that efficient. No, it had to have been him. I'm sure of it. There must be some trick at play here. Some kind of shortcut. I must find it. Watered down milk. Surely my scenario is more plausible at this point than these panicked attempts to fix your story.
What's more plausible isn't for you to decide, defense. It's the judge that makes the final call. And as long as his alibi stands, I can't imagine him siding with you. Yes, so all of the loose ends have been tied up before a decision can be made. Witness, please continue.
Could you explain what the alibi is again? With pleasure. At the time of the crime, I was busy preparing that day's shipments of milk. That's hard work. I barely had enough time to get them done before the courier came to take them.
The shipments were inspected by the Sheikah force as they were leaving the ranch. And as our resident detective has told us, they were found to be fully loaded up with bottles of milk.
That's right. The Sheikah force itself has vouched for me. There's no way I could be the culprit. Oh, I disagree. There has to be a way. There must be. Would it really have taken that long to murder someone and burn some clothes?
Would have taken long enough to definitely make the scheme infeasible.
Completing these shipments is a rather involved process. You have to milk the cows, clean the bottles, pour milk into them, put them into crates, and load those onto a wagon. I love working with the cows, but that part takes the longest because you only get a little at a time. So as Mr. Ingo said, the whole thing really does take a while. Father and I usually have to work together to get it done in time for the courier's arrival.
There you go, defense. Your own client knows this is an unshakable truth.
Okay, so there's no way he could complete the shipments and also do the killing. In that case, there had to be some way for him to finish the work faster. I just have to find it. So you had enough time for breakfast, but not enough time to kill someone? Yes, of course. The breakfast was cooking while I kept working. Then I just quickly gobbled it up. There's no issue there. In fact, yes, I remember it even burned a bit because I wasn't completely paying attention to it. That's why I had to get that glass of water too, you see. I had to wash it down after. What a convenient little explanation. For all I know, he actually did cook up a breakfast on a fire of burning blood-soaked cloths. Ew.
Continue, witness. We don't want to hear about your culinary adventures.
Of course, of course. My point is just what I've been telling you this whole time. The only people who could have done this were you and Malon. and I know Malan well enough to know she couldn't be the culprit. You as the perpetrator.
Yes, by now we all know how much you value your friend. Let me remind you though, feelings don't matter at all here. You must show us solid evidence to put Ingo's alibi into question, or concede defeat.
Is there any way you could have done the work first then? I'm not sure. It'd be nice if there was though. I could sleep in a bit longer every day. Yeah, you'd think he would have shared it with you if you knew of one. So what shortcut did you use, Ingo? Let's take the bold stand. Yeah. Ah, but did you though? Did you really complete those shipments properly?
Defense, I shouldn't have to remind you that the Sheikah Force checked the boxes thoroughly. They were definitely full of milk balls.
Oh, I'm sure of it. Looks that way.
What are you guessing as, Defense?
Here you go, Your Honor.
Huh? Milk for me? Are you trying to bribe the judge now? I didn't think you'd stoop so low. The crowd will be informed of this.
Oh, it's nothing like that. All I'm asking is for his Honor try tasting the milk. Just one little sip.
This is highly irregular. But to be honest, I could use a drink. All this talking does make one's throat dry, you know. I agree. Since the defense insists, I'll go ahead and take a sip. Is this what passes for milk these days? This almost tastes like water.
Water? I have to agree. This is definitely not standard milk. As we've heard from the Princess and the Detective, Lon Lon Ranch is renowned for the quality of its product. But there's no way people would say that about this milk. It's lousy.
Bah, whatever. As if the unwashed masses would know the difference between quality and garbage. Where are you going with this, Defense?
It's simple, you see. I received this bottle from Detective Impa, still unopened during the first recess. As we know, there were no milk shipments today, so this must have come from one of Ingo's shipments from yesterday.
Ah!
It's true that Ingo couldn't have murdered Talon and also completed the shipments on his own, unless he cheated. Ingo watered down the milk to get the shipments done in time.
Order! Order! Yes, I suppose that would work.
Indeed. All we had to do was milk fewer of the cows. To say it for enough time without ruining the taste too much. I'd guess he used about a 50-50 split of water and milk. This is... No! Talon!
Let me stop you right there. I will concede that something odd happened to that shipment. But all you have proven is that Ingo is a slacker.
How dare you?
Be quiet, you mongrel. Sure, Ingo watered down the milk. That doesn't make him a killer, though, does it?
Well, no. But now we do know that he definitely could have done it. We know he did go to the crime scene, and we know he did have the time and opportunity to kill Talon as well.
There's a vital element missing still. Let me put it in simple terms so even an idiot like you can understand.
Well, this is different.
You like the murder weapon. If Ingo was the murderer, then it couldn't have been the saw.
Why is that?
What the heck is this? It's simple. If the girl's story about working on the fence is true, then she was using the saw while her father was being murdered. It couldn't have been in two places at the same time.
Do I agree with this? How many saws are there? One. Okay. I believe we're in complete agreement on this point.
You do realise that problems that creates for you, right?
I'm sure it can all be explained.
Ha, as if. But very well, then let's move on to why nothing else could have been the murder weapon either. Where would this supposed other murder weapon have come from?
Couldn't you have used any old thing?
Either answer the question, defense, or this discussion is over.
No need to overthink this. Anywhere Ingo could have gotten a weapon from will do. I'll worry about the exact details later. Have we forgotten this murder happened on a ranch? There are plenty of sharp things on site.
Ha ha! That's simply impossible. We checked all sharp objects on the ranch and searched everyone. No fresh blood was found anywhere else.
Couldn't Ingo have just wiped it off?
Blood leaves traces. It's not that easy to get rid of. People like us are so sensitive. But other things like the Zoras can easily tell by smell. Naturally, the Sheikah Force employs people for just this task. So there's no good reason why any of the tools would have fresh blood on them. Any such implement would have stood out like a sore thumb.
Couldn't you have just disposed of it in some way?
Ha! That's impossible, you see. No items from the ranch's inventory list were missing, and that list is indisputable.
Oh, I don't know. Ingo fucking made it. The inventory itself is false.
Oh, fascinating. What exactly makes you question the veracity of this document?
It's simple. You only need a brief look at the inventory to see it can't be trusted.
Ha ha! You can't just go around making such general statements, defense. Point out exactly about the inventory makes it suspect.
Just look here. The one who compiled this list was Ingo himself. He could have easily falsified the accounts as part of his plan.
Ah, that doesn't matter.
This is sick.
Nothing could have left the ranch.
Oh, it damn well could have. Wouldn't Ingo have been able to just throw the item over the fence?
Bah! Obviously we searched the perimeter of the ranch as well. Nothing was found anywhere.
This is the most important point. Has nothing really been able to leave? Are you really sure nothing left the ranch? What about a few little shipments of milk?
Preposterous. You forgot that said shipments have been checked by the Sheikah Force before they were allowed to leave?
That's true, but there was a place the Sheikah could have overlooked.
What din's name are you babbling about? We're talking about bog standard crates here, boy. Not exactly vast dungeons full of nooks and crannies to stuff things into, are they? Where could they have missed a murder weapon?
Simple. They overlooked. It's inside the crate, so Sheikah couldn't have checked thoroughly without ruining the shipments.
Without ruining the shipments?
That's right. Ingo put the murder weapon inside one of the bottles to conceal it from the search.
That does seem plausible. Now wait just a moment. A weapon in a milk bottle wouldn't have just go unnoticed. Someone would have reported it.
How can you be so sure?
Do you even know how much milk an average bar uses each day? All those shipments have most certainly been completely used up by now. Someone drinking from that bottle would have found it for sure, choked on it even, if they took too large a swig. It would have been a huge scandal.
Well, he's right about that, but he's missing some vital information. The shipment return. Okay, that was cool. You'd be correct that a weapon showing up in someone's milkshake would cause quite a stir. If the milk ever actually made it to any milk bar, that is. You see, I overheard a very interesting tale during the recess. Word was sent from the ranch not long ago that one of the shipments was returned unopened due to being misaddressed. No! Indeed. If you recall, Ingo was the one who handled all of that. Now, that's strange. The ranch supplies the same milk bars every day. Even if he had messed up the street address a little, the couriers would have known where the shipment was meant to go. How could he have bungled it that badly? It's almost as if he didn't want anyone receiving a bottle of milk with a murder weapon in it. I don't even need to act that one. I bet Ingo expected this box to stay in shipping limbo a while longer. How unfortunate for him that the postal service was on its game today. Maybe because they were worried it would start to smell.
I believe this calls for us to investigate these boxes of milk more closely. Soldiers, have these boxes retrieved from the ranch immediately.
Argument complete. This is slander. Why would I kill Talon? Sure, he's a bit of a layer-mouse, but he did give me a job. Why would I want him dead? The motive? That's simple. Well, I'm surprised you're even asking about it. I am guessing... yeah, the remaining employees. The very inheritance document you brought to the court's attention states the following. In case of the testator's death, his daughter Malon of London Ranch will inherit the ranch. Unless she is unable to oversee it, in which case it shall be divided between the Crown and the remaining employees. Ah. What? You not only killed Talon, but decided to frame Malon for the crime as well. So you would be the one to inherit that part of the ranch. That's why you volunteered to work in the silo all day. Give you an alibi so that Malon could be the only culprit. Of course you knew about the royal visitation in advance. You knew Malon would go back to the ranch house to prepare before they arrived. A perfect setup for royals to find her next to the body. No, no, no! What are you talking about? Talon signing the branch over to me? Preposterous. Did he really not know? I guess it was Dragmire who procured the actual document, not him.
Your Honour. What is it, soldier? The box you requested is here. Already? That was quite fast.
Apparently the team at the ranch had already noticed something awry with it on their own. The box arrived just as we were about to rush out a courier to deliver our message. Well, well, well. Let's see for ourselves then, shall we? The part of the shipment that proves my case is... here it is, from the bottle with a slight red tint to the milk. It's like some kind of serrated knife. That explains the irregular wound pretty nicely.
How could those chic idiots miss this?
I'm sure the milk was pure white when they first checked it. It took a whole day for the blood to dissolve in it. Either way, no matter how you slice it, this proves my theory right. Oh, I've had it. Fine, fine. You want to know why? You want to know why I really killed that scumbag?
No, what are you...
So you admit it? Yes, I admit it. What would you do if one day, after years of backbreaking labours by putting your all into the ranch, you were thrown away like rubbish without any reason? He was fired. Fired! Farewell, we don't need you anymore. What? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, don't lie, I heard it all. I was just returning back from another day of spine-wrenching work, and lo and behold, what's this? Malon and Talon are talking behind my back. I heard it all. We'll let him go after the visitation. We can handle things without him. And so, after volunteering to work on that shipment, I quietly slipped out while the girl was busy and shanked the good-for-nothing slacker. Ha! You should have seen his face. He didn't expect it at all. This is a misunderstanding about a horse, isn't it? So yes, Malon, I killed that lazy bum you called a father. And he deserved it. Oh dear.
Order! The witness will cease his boasting over such a terrible deed. I think we've heard enough. Soldiers, take him away.
Wait just a moment. Ingo. Yes, girl? Want to apologise for what you've done? Apologise? Me? You're horrible. We weren't planning to fire you at all. You completely misunderstood what we were saying. What? Had so much work recently. Well,
you know how it goes with the row visits. Always a busy time. Gotta make sure everything's in tip-top shape. I do worry something about old Ingo, though. He's been complaining about his back recently. Do wish he'd take a step back and relax sometime.
Maybe we should convince him to take a vacation.
Now there's an idea. You're doing good to just get out of it for a while. I'll discuss it with him after the visitation. After things calm down, we can handle everything without him.
That's... You were planning... What? Vacation? For me? And I did... No, it can't be so. Please say it isn't so. Please tell me they die by cuckoo attack. Yay! Oh dear.
We have witnessed today the results of a truly horrifying misunderstanding. But misunderstanding or not, what you have done is unforgivable.
Talon was a kind man, beloved by all who had the good fortune to cross his path. His loss will be felt not only at this ranch, but all across Hyrule.
The killer turned out to be an utterly pathetic man with delusions of grandeur. I mean, look at him! Another idiot dressed like a clown.
Oh, single tear. Jeez, he's really laying into him. I bet he's just upset because he lost.
The prosecution's rant aside, I think it's time to declare today's verdict. This is just a formality, but will the defendant please step up to the stand? Young miss, I am very sorry for the situation you have found yourself in. I am very glad you appear to have such a good attorney as a friend.
I wouldn't have chosen anyone else. Oh, thanks.
Humph. Now then, without further ado, in the name of the goddess Hylia and the sacred land of Hyrule, I hereby find Malon of Lon Lon Ranch
not guilty.
Court is adjourned.
We did it. I suppose so. I guess Ingo's outburst kind of soured the mood, huh? I don't think I can ever forgive Mr. Ingo for what he's done. That's fair enough, honestly. Really though, you shouldn't think about that for now. You're free. It's time to celebrate. I guess you're right. Excellent work. I knew you'd pull through. Oh, thanks. I couldn't have done it without you, really. So, thank you. No, that's not quite right. If you want to thank someone, I'm not the one who deserves it the most. Huh? Your Highness? I thought you were going back to Hyrule Castle. What strings did Impa have to pull to get her here? But I realised I should apologise for what I did personally. It's an honour. Well, there is no need to bow. Not after what I've done. Really, if not for my status, I would have probably been carted off to prison alongside that angry little man. Perjury is pretty serious, so that's probably not entirely wrong. As usual, you don't give yourself enough credit, Your Highness. How can you say that, Detective? I almost condemned an innocent person to prison. Yes, there are some things you should think twice about doing in the future. But it's all thanks to you that the young lady over here finally went free. Huh? Come on, Attorney, show Her Highness what I'm talking about. The bottle? Well, it's true. Without this, and without knowing about the fire, we wouldn't have had any proof to substantiate our claims. And, really, your obviously false testimony helped us a lot. Ouch! Impa just stepped on my foot. Well, there you have it. In any case, I'm sure Miss Malon isn't too upset. Well, sure?
Turn up!
We have orders to escort the princess back to the castle immediately. Ah, just in time. Farewell, Your Highness. And so they left. Now then, listen to me. I know that I am perhaps being too lenient on the princess, but tough times are ahead. The princess will need all the confidence she can get to lead the kingdom through them. Hey, Jimbo Slim. How you doing? She needs to learn to take responsibility for her actions too, though. And she will. Huh? Her Highness is for a rather unpleasant afternoon today, I imagine. The urgency with which she has just been escorted out of here isn't coincidental. Was the king going to scold her? At the very least. Now then, my duty's call, unfortunately, so I must be off. Again, you did well today, both of you. I trust that I will be able to rely on you in future court proceedings as well. I'll try my best. That's all I ask. That unpleasant prosecutor seems to be making his way over here, so I'll be excusing myself post-haste. Farewell. Uh-oh.
You!
Hello, nice day we're having, isn't it?
Tell me, now, where did that blasted detective go? To have my reputation tarnished this way by some novice attorney from the boonies.
Dramatic much? He looks about ready to burst from anger. Don't be such a sore loser. You lost. Deal with it. Yeah, we got the right verdict. Doesn't that make you even a little bit glad?
Yes, I suppose there is some worth in that. What transpired is most unfortunate. I can only offer my condolences. Just remember that it was the meddling of that idiotic princess and the stupidity of that blasted detective that led to your arrest. So if you have any grievances, take it up with them.
I suppose there is some truth to what he's saying.
Speaking of the detective, it appears she's fled from me like a cooker on fire. Mark my words, she will regret what she's done for generations.
Well, that sure was something. I don't know if he was being sincere or just wanted to shift blame onto someone else. I wouldn't say he's entirely blameless. Never mind that. Do you think you'll be alright running the ranch by yourself? Of course I'll come visit, but I have my attorney duties too. I'll get in touch with the castle, see if they can spare some men to work at the ranch. Silly as my father may have seemed, he really did prepare me to take over one day, and he's taught me well. I'll make sure the animals are all cared for, just as I always have. That's the spirit. I believe in you. I really want to thank you for bringing the truth to light. If it wasn't for you, I don't even want to think about what could have happened. Don't mention it. I'm just glad everything worked out in the end. And so ended a very personal case for me. Felt like a weight had been lifted off my back. Malin continued working at the ranch, hoping to make it prosper even beyond what her father was able to accomplish. I didn't really think much about it, but the days following were some of the happiest I'd lived for a long time. Little did I know that a terrible tragedy would soon shock the entire kingdom, and I'd find myself smack dab in the middle of it. But that's a legend for another day. Nice. The question is, have they made any more yet? Oh, is that it for now? Wait, is that it for now? Aww. There's an extra. Well, that might have to wait for another day if I do, but is it long at all? Is it like another full case, or at least another full trial day? This is really cool though. I love this so much. Oh, you're one of the creators. Oh, that's really cool. Well, you guys did an awesome job. Like, me and my girlfriend are playing through like the Ace Attorney games at the moment on the Switch. We've just finished like the original trilogy and are doing the Apollo Justice ones. Apollo Justice, then into Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice. And then this came up literally today for me on like my feed, and I was like, and I just finished the other thing I was streaming, which was Pokemon Uranium, and I wanted to try something, so I thought, oh, I'll get like the first case of this done. Oh, but this is so cool, I really like it. Like, just the mesh of Zelda and Ace Attorney. The custom animations are cool, I like the way it's all gone. Yeah, I can imagine. I'd love to see some other people play it. I like some of the hints for potential later cases and stuff, and also some of the references. Some of them being a bit more niche. I don't know if it was purposeful, but the judge going like, I'm not sure how I feel about that, as a reference to the Canadian judge from the third game, is really clever. Oh yeah, I know he's closer to the Ace Attorney judge, but it was just that one line, and I was like, ooh, that sounds like the Canadian judge from Trials and Tribulations, because it's literally his line. I love Impa in the detective series, it's funny, and it's nice to have a competent detective, as opposed to Gumshoe or... Well, I suppose Fulbright technically isn't competent in the 5th game until the very end. It is funny that it all came down to like a misunderstanding. For this one, I am playing on Project 64. anyhow, this is going to be the end of my stream. Thank you for the really awesome hack, and if you enjoyed watching me play it, please do consider dropping a follow, and I will check out the extra at some point. But yeah, consider dropping a follow, and it'll be great to see you next week when I go again. Bye bye now.